In this video, we're going to talk about the Pentax DA 18-135 zoom lens. I use it with the Pentax K70, and it is a KAF3 mount lens. It's a great one lens option for vacations, events, or just general photography, any type of shooting you're doing. This is a good quality lens for that. That's not to say it's an excellent lens, but it's very capable, especially if you're using post-production sharpness or topaz, something like that. Then this lens is more than capable of getting pro work done as well as, of course, personal work. Like most modern Pentax lenses, it is weather sealed and basically waterproof. I've shown this video clip before. I've had permission to show this. This is not from my camera, but I would never advise anyone to submerge their camera or lens in water or snow and run it under a faucet, but I've seen it done on other YouTube videos, had permission to use this, and the weather sealing is the main reason I went with the Pentax K70 and the WR, which is weather-resistant lenses. Now, it also makes sense, but is easy to overlook, that when you use this lens in wet conditions, it is very important to dry the long barrel part of the zoom before retracting it so that any wetness on the lens doesn't get inside where it can be slow to dry, causing possible mold issues or things like that down the line. And like the other DA lenses, there is no aperture ring on this lens. It's adjusted using the controls in and on the camera. The Pentax DA 18-135mm comes with a plastic lens hood that snaps firmly into place. Both the zoom ring and focus ring are covered in a nice soft rubber grip, and both rotate very smoothly and firmly without really being too loose. Regarding some of the tech specs, the lens also features an aspherical element, internal focusing, and extra low dispersion element. The lens itself has a metal mount, and that's surrounded by a red weather sealing ring, and that's one of the things that I love about the camera is the weather sealing. This goes from 3.5 all the way up to a minimum of 5.6 at 70mm. And basically what you're going to get here, you can see on screen at 18mm, you can go as low as 3.5, which lets a good enough amount of light in, especially if you're outdoors. At 20mm, it immediately drops to 4, 28mm, 4.5, and then when you get to 70mm, the lowest or the widest aperture you can use is f5.6. For landscapes, if you stick between f8 and f11 and crop the corners a little where necessary, there's really little to complain about in camera with this lens. You get a very nice variety of focal distances when needed, as opposed to a prime fixed lens or carrying a bunch of lenses with you. That's very helpful, especially when you're using a tripod and you can just zoom in, zoom out, whatever you need to do, unless you're out on some sort of professional shoot that you need all of that equipment. For portraits, this lens, like most zooms, it can definitely do the job. It's not ideal, but this certainly will do the job, especially if it's family or something like that and not some big major photo shoot for Vogue magazine or something. And when I go out on the street, I often ask people if I can take their photo, and I can get some great images and I'm not worried about the background because I'm zooming in close up anyway. So in general, this is a great all-around lens for your Pentax camera. Again, I use it with the K70. It's a lens you could put on there and never take off and get great photos for the life of the camera or the lens or your interest in photography, whatever it is. You really don't need another lens if you use this one. Like most products that Pentax puts out, it's usually priced under the quality. So you're going to get better quality than what you're paying for. Nobody's complaining about that. That's why I use Pentax, and that's why I use this lens. I have no problem with it and would highly recommend it. If you do want to buy it, it's available in the description below. There's a link there. So I think you will enjoy, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know your experience with the 18-135, and we'll be back with more.